Hey guys, my name is Thomas Brush. I'm the creator of a game called Pinstripe. I'm also working on a game called Once Upon a Coma. Now I've launched games on pretty much every platform you can think of for the past 10 years. Some games, a lot of games were like web-based games, but my most recent game, Pinstripe, was on Switch, Xbox, PS4, Steam, and a lot of other PC platforms. And Once Upon a Coma will be launched on those platforms as well. So I know a little bit about the benefits of these platforms. Now, with the launch of, or the announcement of Google Stadia, I've been thinking a lot about what the future of gaming means. And I haven't read a lot of articles, I haven't looked at a lot of YouTube videos, I've just sort of been mulling it over and thinking about what's going to happen in the next 10 years. So I want to make three huge predictions about what's going to happen in the gaming industry. I haven't read anything, I haven't looked at anything, so I could be completely wrong here. But in the comments below, I want you guys to talk about whether you think these predictions are accurate, whether you think they're going to happen, or am I just crazy here? So the first thing that I think is going to happen is you're going to see a huge shift for Xbox, PS4, and Nintendo Switch in terms of their capabilities in the hardware. The games themselves, they'll probably change based on the hardware. Now, Nintendo is already doing this, so I don't think Nintendo's actually going to be affected that much by Google Stadia. I think that what's going to happen is Nintendo's going to continue to do what they've already done really well, and that is their platform is actually kind of a controller. So their hardware interacts with the controller. It's kind of a one-to-one thing, and it's kind of bizarre and interesting that they decided to go this route. Remember when Wii came out, everyone was really confused at Nintendo's approach. Why are they creating these weird controllers and making their system interact with that controller in such a bizarre way? It's kind of a steep learning curve. It was hard to make sense. This was especially true with Nintendo Switch. Remember when they started to market Nintendo Switch? Everyone was confused. They didn't really fully understand what the point of it was. But once you actually mess with the console and play with it and realize you can play multiplayer games together with your friends by just pulling out the controllers and using those controllers with your friends, all of the various interactions that Nintendo Switch has with its API and with its games, it's really obvious why they chose to go this route. It works, it sets them apart. And this also sets them apart from Google Stadia, sort of taking their games and saying, hey, we can just store a console very similar to Nintendo Switch, store it in some warehouse, and then you don't have to buy the console. Well, you can't really do that with Nintendo Switch. So I think Nintendo Switch has really created a market for itself. Now, I think Sony and Microsoft are going to do the same thing, whether it's VR or some motion capture type hardware, which Xbox, Microsoft already sort of did that. And I think Sony did as well, I'm not quite sure. But you're going to see device-specific changes coming out for Xbox and PS4. It's not necessarily going to be anything regarding games or anything like that. It's going to be the hardware that comes out. So that's the first prediction that's going to happen. You're going to see Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo continue to push hardware. A lot of different hardware or controller changes. Stadia is going to be all about games. You don't have to buy the hardware, but Xbox, PS4, and Nintendo are going to push the idea that you need to buy their hardware and you really can't get the same experience on Stadia. The second prediction is all about graphics capabilities. And I think this is going to be the craziest, most intense decade of enhancing graphics capabilities that we've ever seen in the game industry. And the reason why is because Google, this huge, powerful company, is going to be pushing all of these games that you can play and you don't have to buy a console. So what's going to happen is Xbox, PS4, not necessarily Nintendo, because I think they have the whole control, like unique controller market for themselves. But I think PS4 and Xbox are going to push, and not necessarily, let's rephrase that. Sony and Microsoft they're going to push for the highest graphics capabilities that their consoles can possibly handle and that their budget can handle, because they need to be able to say, our games, our hardware is so much better than Google's hardware that you really need to buy our console to be able to get that experience. Now, I think that I was thinking about this. I thought, well, why doesn't Google just simply change out their hardware and replace it to match the ever increasing hardware of Xbox and PS4? Let's say Xbox and Sony and Microsoft come out with a new console next year that just blows Google out of the water. Well, to replace their hardware, they have to replace thousands, if not millions, of computers that are running Stadia. So upgrading their system is going to be much more costly than Microsoft and Sony just selling consoles. So I think we're going to see a crazy race to get the best graphics capabilities. There's going to be a huge race between Google, Sony, and Microsoft to have the best graphics capabilities on their platforms. Nintendo, I don't think they're going to care, but I think Microsoft and Sony are going to race to have the best hardware out there so that nobody can say that it's possible on Google Stadia, that the consumer is going to have to purchase a Microsoft or a Sony device to get that experience. The third and final prediction I want to make is that games, guys, they're going to get exclusive deals. If Microsoft came to me and they said, Thomas, we want you to launch your game on Xbox and we'll pay you $200,000 and it's an exclusive deal and we'll promote it and all that, I would maybe take that deal. I would be very tempted to take that deal. And I think that's what's going to happen in the end. All of these various platforms and storefronts, they're going to start narrowing down their doors. Or what am I trying to say? They're going to start locking down the doors and access of entry for other games. So if there's a game that's on Google Stadia, do you really think that Xbox wants to even touch that game? I don't think they do, because they know Stadia is going to dominate if that game has nothing unique about it for the Xbox. If it's the same game on Stadia or Xbox, I just don't see Xbox saying they want to even touch that game. But if Xbox says, we'll give you an exclusive deal for this game to a developer, they say, we want your game exclusively, you cannot touch Google, then I think Xbox is going to make the case that they have a very unique portfolio of games. So what's going to end up happening is every developer is going to have their own game, one game on one platform. This multi-platform thing, I don't think it's going to last, because I think the competition is going to get very extreme. And so all these developers are going to have one game on one platform, and platforms are going to be promoting their portfolio of games and saying their portfolio is better than Google, therefore you should buy an Xbox device. Now, in conclusion, my final conclusive prediction is Google's going to destroy these consoles. I don't think that selling hardware is going to be the future. I think selling digital copies to people who have a TV is pretty much all you'll need. You'll have a smart TV a Google TV, for example, that can handle streaming, and that streaming is going to all be streamed from a very powerful, maybe the future is going to be some quantum PC or quantum computer. And all of this hardware that Sony and Microsoft and Nintendo is promoting, I don't think it's gonna go well. Now, I think Nintendo will be fine based on their always promoting sort of party or communal hardware. I think they'll always sort of have that arcade experience, and I don't think that'll die away. But when it comes to competing just in general with Google, I think Google's going to win. And I think I might be on the part of the minority in saying that, because I've heard a lot of complaints about Google. I think they know what they're doing. So what do you guys think? Do you think Google's going to destroy these companies? And what do you think about my 3 predictions? Let me know in the comments what you think. I'd love to start a debate and have an argument even about this, because I love arguing about technology. So let's have fun, guys. Leave a comment and I'll try to answer as best I can. If you like this video, please subscribe. Thanks again. Talk to you later. Bye.